I mean, basically, how do you stand out from your opponents, other than being a libertarian? Because you got Democrats and you got Republicans running, so
The cool thing is that our government at the moment, on almost all levels, is very polarized, and it's very Democrat against Republican, very right against left. The nice thing about the third parties is we're in a unique position to create bridges, to form alliances with both sides and smooth things out. Sometimes, just like in a family dispute, sometimes you're both saying almost the same thing, but in such different ways you don't always see that you're really on the same side, but it's us against them, and we've got to win. But as libertarians, we can hopefully break through that. As more and more of us get elected, we can break through that and hopefully bring some continuity and start making government work for us. We're the people, and the government is supposed to be our servant. We're not supposed to be working for the government.
that's right. It's a service to run and so forth. So, for those who don't know really what a libertarian is, can you briefly frame that? I mean, because some people say, I mean, they get confused with liberal with libertarian, and help us out there.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times if you just put LIB on as a contraction instead of spelling out libertarian, you will end up getting registered as a liberal, and there is no liberal party, or sometimes they don't know and they put you in independent or not classified and not categorized. If you spell out libertarian, hopefully you'll get registered correctly. And to be fair, there's an awful lot of people that they're putting through the registry at the county and state levels. So that's a lot, and they only have so much time to get this done, especially as it gets towards elections and more people are going, oh, I moved, I've got to update, or I've never voted before, and what can I do? So I've got to get this in. And they have to get them in, to be fair. It is our right to vote. So basically, one of the jokes is the libertarians want to take over the government and leave you guys alone. So leave the people alone. And there's a lot of, probably the best way to say it is, I think I've already said it, concerned with personal freedom, civil liberties, and fiscal responsibility. So use smaller government, use less tax dollars, and if you're not hurting anyone, leave the people alone who aren't hurting anyone. And when you get into lawmaking and law breaking, if they're not hurting anybody, is it really something we should be penalizing them for?
Well, I don't know if I would have gotten shot down with this, but I always believe that even in this is probably the only country where you actually have the right to break the law, but you just have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah. You can put it that way. Yeah. There's
I mean, that's a little too crude, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, if you break the law, everyone thinks you should you just try to get away with it. No, that's really not how it's supposed to work.
No. And there are laws, well, drug laws. Yeah, and to some extent, there used to be a prohibition, and we don't have prohibition anymore because when drinking and alcohol was illegal, we ended up with more alcohol on the streets, with less regulation. Children could get alcohol, women could get alcohol. Suddenly, alcoholism rates and abuse in women and children went sky high. Horrible things happened. And with the drug war, we have the same thing. And morality aside, is it really our place to judge what somebody does in the privacy of their own home? And yes, if somebody is breaking a law, as if they're abusing someone, if they've hit you, yeah, that's bad. You've hurt somebody. Don't do that.
Back to the, if they're not hurting anybody.
Not hurting anybody, don't, leave it alone. Now, if it's something, if you're getting drunk and you're going to work hungover, then you risk getting canned. You can lose your job for that.
Well, not only that, you could hurt someone when you're driving. You could end up with a DUI or whatever.
Exactly. In those, there you can, if you're hurting someone, if you're putting someone else at risk, there you are. You shouldn't be doing that. But on the other hand, if you're not putting other people at risk, do what you want. Consenting adults.
So now with libertarian, you're not against regulation. You just want responsible regulation.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. So not only with drugs, where you can, like in Colorado, where they've brought in more tax revenue because of their more liberal drug laws, but with when you streamline the regulation process, the paperwork for small businesses really do add more to the tax base. There's more of us as small businesses. If we make it easier for small businesses to take hold and function and continue and grow, it's one thing to say, oh, I want a big box store over here and we're going to bring in a bunch of jobs. Are those really the jobs you want? They're low-paying jobs. And there's a limited number of them. And yeah, sure, it's great to have a tech industry come in and give us high-paying jobs. That's fabulous. But there's also a limited number of those.
Well, and who's to say that, this happened. A big company gets an incentive, and then they spend it out of state. How are they able to do that? Although, they have those creative accounting, or as was once used, forensic accounting ability.
Sure, yes.
So, yeah, I can see, that, I don't know.
Yeah. If there's more small businesses than big businesses, and yes, we need a good balance of both, but if we could streamline the regulations for small businesses to get into business, to stay in business, especially in this economy where so many people are out of work, it would be so nice for more people to just make their own businesses. If you can't find a job, make one.
Well, believe me, I'm trying to reinvent myself every day and try to do something different, even in my own field. I totally get that, and I'm still struggling and making money.
Yeah, and I've met you through the film industry, where I've helped in a few. I've met independent filmmakers while I was unemployed and had nothing better to do, so I was helping them get their stuff started. And there are really so many filmmakers in this state. A lot of people are making their living, but we're exporting so many talented people to California and other states because we don't have the support here for an industry that goes back 100 years.
I think that was best said by you today.
Oh, thank you.
I've heard a lot of people talk about the incident, but about the film industry and our struggles, but that's like the most precise and to the point, really, of what's been going on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, I would love to see more film industry work here in Arizona, and there have been a couple of films that were about Arizona that were filmed in New Mexico because we didn't have the incentive here, but New Mexico did. They spent a little bit in gas and chips on their way through, and that's really kind of sad. But yeah, I'd really like to see more. The nice thing about a film industry here is, if we have an incentive for the film industry, the money has to get spent locally.
Yeah.
And it goes right back into our economy, and the people we spend the money on. When we hire the people locally, they pay income tax, and the money they spend on groceries and gas, they pay taxes on all that. When the film company, whether it's from another state or whether it's local, it has to be a certain budget, above a certain budget, so that brings higher budget projects. Yes, they are temporary, but the more they come, the more that will happen, and we've got such a broad, varied landscape here. We've got cities, we've got farms, we've got deserts and forests, and we've made Flight of the Phoenix was made here. It wasn't made in the Middle East or the Sahara. It was made in Yuma. And we've made Westerns and out of this world science fiction, just amazing things here. And the more we do that, the very important thing that film can do for Arizona is our infighting in the government here has given us a black eye to the world. And the film industry can show us in a much better light. Look what we're doing here. We're doing wonderful things. We're making pretty pictures, but we're also employing people fairly, and it's local. And we're putting money back into the system and employing. That spreads out and employs a lot more people in retail and in rental and pretty much any industry you can name.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that, the tax incentive is picking winners and losers. Actually, no, not at all. That's a myth. What it does is it tries to pick out the most potential projects, and actually, it does serve every business possible. I mean, where do you think Reagan got trickled down economics? It wasn't from working as a governor in California. It was working as an actor and a producer and a director in the film industry.
Yeah, the film industry comes here and they have to build sets and they have to rent vehicles and they have to rent equipment, and things happen and they do costuming. There's all kinds of things. Props. I need a knife. I need something to put in their hands, and there's almost we need horses, we need a dog. There's all kinds of things they need, and they can get it anywhere. And here they'll be spending the money.
Well, thank you, Chris. I think we had a great in-depth conversation on all levels. We talked about elections, we talked a little bit on taxes. I don't know what else you would want to share.
Maybe education.